Everybody's planning these days. Everybody's using different tools, different ways of planning everything, as a matter of fact. Gone are the days where we just plan our weddings or plan our year. We are now planning our weeks, our days, and even time blocking all of our hours. Not gonna lie, I do enjoy watching my fair share of planning YouTube videos, things. But I gotta say, one of the things that I don't see talked a lot about is planning with astrology. And hear me out. There are actually many ways that you can plan with astrology. You can for sure plan big life events. You can time, for example, when to get married, when to start a business, all of those types of bigger life events, when to go on a holiday. But you can actually also really practically get down to the nitty and gritty, plan for a year, or maybe even plan for a season, for example, the winter season or the fall season. But what we're going to talk about in this video, which you can actually get super granular with, is how to plan your month. We're going to go from top level down, so getting more granular as we go along. And I'm going to give you examples along the way as well, so that you would know exactly how to apply this in your own life. Let's talk about what I define as a month, or what astrology defines as a month. Because if we're actually following suit with the astrological signs, a month does not start on the 1st of August. A month actually starts on the 20th or 21st of the month, because that is when the sign switches into a new zodiac sign. And actually, if you know something a bit about the astrology signs, about the zodiac signs, is you would know that the astrological year does not start on January 1st. The astrological year starts on March 20th or 21st, because that is actually when a whole new cycle of the zodiac signs begins again. That's when we end with Pisces and we begin with Aries, starting a new astrological year. So when we're talking about planning your month ahead, I will highly advise you to plan your month from the 20th. If you can't, you're watching this video somewhere else than the 20th or 21st of the month, that's also fine. It's no problem. Just be aware that the sun is going to shift on the 20th or 21st into a different sign. So our first step is going to be determining a theme word for the month ahead. What you're going to do is you're going to take a look at where the sun is for that month. Currently, as we're talking, the sun is in Leo. And using the keywords that I'm actually going to leave in the description box for you, go ahead and pick a word that resonates with you. And this word is inspired by each of the zodiac signs, and therefore with every month your theme word is going to change. What this allows us is when the sun is in that specific zodiac sign, it allows us to access a little bit more of that energy, that flavor that specific zodiac sign brings with it. And these are flavors or energies that we can all get in touch with. It doesn't matter if you're an Aquarius and the sun is in Leo right now. There is still that part of you, that Leo part of you, the courageous, the show-offish, the expressionistic part of you that wants to show off, that wants to come out during this season. So we want to actually start to use that energy that is coming more naturally during this time by setting up a theme word. This theme word, allow it to flavor everything that you do in that month. It's this idea of a word that's in the back of your mind, and no matter what you're doing, whether it's as simple as washing the dishes or as big as putting in your notice at work, that you allow that theme word to really guide you for the whole month. So I would go ahead and encourage you to do that as the first step. And if you are looking for your theme words for the zodiac sign in this time that you're currently watching, then go to the description box and find a theme word for yourself. The second step we are going to do to plan our month once we have our theme word is to take a look at what house the sun will be transiting for us personally. Now, again, this is something that you actually need to know your birth time for, not just the day and the month and the year, but the time that you were born. And you need to go to a website online to actually pull up your chart in order to know your houses, in order to know where the sun is transiting right now. Once you've determined that, let's say, for example, for me, Leo, the sun is in Leo right now, and it's transiting the first house for me. I am a Leo rising. Once we determine the house that the sun will be transiting for the month ahead, we are going to allow our house, that house that's being activated, to be our focus for the month. So you can see how we're going deeper. We start with the theme word, and now we're going to the focus for the month. And next we're going to go to activities, but we'll get there. And what we're doing when we're defining our focus is we're taking a look at the types of activities that come more naturally with specific houses. If you're not sure what those activities are, I'm leaving them in the description box. So as long as you know what house the sun is transiting, go ahead and find the focus down below. Once you have this focus, for me, it's in my first house. So we're talking about myself, developing who I am, developing my ego. We're talking about maybe spending time taking a look at my looks and how I express my personality. So I know that my focus for this month should be something in that general area. Perhaps if I've been thinking of updating my wardrobe for the past 6 months, I will know for sure, hey, in August, this is really the month that I should see if I can take a step towards it. You know, this is maybe the month that if I'm thinking, hey, I want to invest in something, this month I, according to astrology, should invest in maybe hiring a personal stylist or buying a couple of staple pieces in my wardrobe. So again, go ahead, find what house the sun will be transiting for you. Look down below in the description box what your focus will be based on that house, and just write it down somewhere underneath your theme. What could be a really interesting step is to think about, are there certain things that you've been thinking about doing under that focus, under that umbrella, that have sort of been in your mind for a while? Let's say, for example, the sun is transiting the 7th house for you, which is about one-on-one relationships. So perhaps you've been thinking for a while, like, hey, I want to really become a good gift giver, or hey, I really want to get in the habit of doing small, meaningful things for my partner. And you've sort of been playing with the idea, but have never gotten down to doing it. So write down all of these little ideas or tinklings that you've had about that specific focus. That will really help us in the next section. Okay, so now we're actually really down to the days. And how we're going to do this is we're going to shift our focus from the sun to the moon. The moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days. So it's a lot faster than the sun, whereas the sun will stay in one zodiac sign for the month. The moon stays through one zodiac sign for 2 to 3 days, and then whoop, it's on to the next right away. What we're going to use the moon for, as we're getting more granular, we've established our theme word, we've established our focus. With the moon, we're going to establish our activities. And this is where noting down some of the ideas that you've had in the previous step will really help you out. So while we know that we have a general focus of, for me, let's say myself, my personality, my wardrobe, what the moon is going to help us with is determining what types of activities we should schedule on which days. What I recommend for this step is pulling out a calendar, digital, physical, doesn't matter. Pulling up an ephemeris online to take a look at where the moon is every day and just noting that down in your calendar in which sign the moon is in every day. Next, you're also going to go ahead and match that sign with your house. So if I know that the moon is in Leo, underneath it, I will write first house. If I know the moon is in Virgo, I'm going to write for myself second house. I find that when we're talking about the moon and determining activities for our days, the house does play a bigger role than the sign. Because the house is a lot more of sort of the practical, it's the where we express the energy of the sign. So you might for sure feel a little bit more outgoing and exciting and positive when the moon is in Sagittarius, for example. But you're going to direct that in a very specific place. You're maybe going to direct that into your work if Sagittarius is in your 10th house, or you're going to direct that in your relationship if Sagittarius is in your 7th house, for example. So really make sure that you don't skip on this step. It's not only important to note the sign that the moon will be in, but actually the house that the moon will be in. And this is very personal for you. It's something that you have to look up with your own birth chart. All right, so once you have the houses that the moon will be in noted down on each day, you're going to go ahead and take a look in the description box to the types of activities that are assigned to each house. And as we're going down in focus level, we want to take a look at, can we schedule specific activities on this upcoming Monday when the moon is in our 6th house that are a little bit more related to work, that are a little bit more related to health and routine. And this is really going to allow you to harness this energy and to allow it to come a little bit easier and a little bit more flowy, if we can say so. Let's get to our example. The month is October 20th to be exact. The sun is entering the sign of Libra, and it's going to be there for the month until November 20th. Libra is going to tell us what our theme word should be for the month. And the theme word for our month of October is going to be harmony. The theme word is going to be very general, and that's because you can take it any way that you'd like, any way that applies to you. Harmony could be going to more exhibitions. Harmony could be renovating your home. Harmony could be trying to be a better partner or improving your other relationships. So we've had our theme word established. Now we're going to take a look at what house Libra is in for us personally. So in this hypothetical example, Libra is in the 10th house. And this is going to give us our focus for the month. And the 10th house focus is work. It's our public image. It's the way that the world perceives us and thinks about us, the way that the world labels us. For example, some of the activities we're going to jot down about this is, I've been thinking about applying for some new jobs. I've been thinking about a career change. I've been thinking about leveling up in the workspace, climbing the ladder. I will jot these activities down for myself just to give me a sort of idea that this might be the perfect month for me to do so. Next, we're going to jot down where the moon is in my personal houses for every day of the month. Let's take a hypothetical day. It's October 28th, and the moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, if Libra is in my 10th house, then Sagittarius is in my 12th house. So I know for these 2 to 3 days that my activities should be focused a little bit more on my subconscious, digging deep into what I believe, spending some more introspective time. Knowing that my focus, my theme for the month is harmony, and knowing that my focus for the month is my work and public image, I might take a look at spending the next 2 to 3 days doing some journaling about how I view myself. What is my relationship to my public image? Am I guiding there from ego? Can I bring a little bit more harmony and peace in my career? I might spend time beautifying my internal space. I might spend time beautifying my workspace. I might spend time seeking out on Pinterest these beautiful, harmonious images of ladies in the workforce that inspire me, that make me feel more alive and excited about my career. So I hope this example helped with knowing how you can begin to structure your month. I want to give a huge practical disclaimer, which is sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you need to file your taxes on a day when the moon is in your 12th house. It's gonna happen. Don't sweat it too much. Just try to go with the flow. Sometimes it happens and there's no way to avoid it. See if there are ways that you can make that activity, for example, a little bit more introspective, or maybe before doing taxes, journal about your personal relationship with taxes. Just to bring a little bit of that flavor into your day without necessarily being like, oh, sorry, government, the moon is in my 12th house. I cannot do my taxes today. That is not what I'm advocating for here. So let me know if you would actually want to see more of these planning videos. I think what could be interesting is zooming out, maybe sharing how to plan a whole season using astrology, and perhaps even taking a look after that how to plan a whole year with astrology. I think that could be something really useful to talk about, but let me know if you agree with that as well. Now, we talked quite a bit about houses, about how finding your own birth chart wheel and seeing what signs are in which houses. If this completely left you like, what is she talking about? I will link these 2 videos right here where we talk about how to read a chart, all about the houses, what are they, how to find them. And hopefully that will help you determine a little bit more of what I was talking about and make sense of it so that you can also plan your month using astrology. If you have any questions about anything, or you're finding it hard to think of a theme word or an activity, just put it in the comments and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you so much for joining me today, for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon.